Approaching the top of the hour on this Tuesday, shifting now to cricket. West Indies are looking for a win in the second and final test against South Africa, which starts on Wednesday in Johannesburg, to tie the series at 1-1. The Caribbean men may feel a bit relieved knowing fast bowler Anrich Nortje, who took a 5-wicket haul in the first test, will miss the second due to a slight discomfort in his groin. Uncapped Dominican Alec Atanaz could be in line for his debut as Roston Chase's replacement, and Shannon Gabriel could give way to the left-arm spinner Gudakesh Modi. Captain Craig Brathwaite spoke further about the final playing 11.
Well, we have an option with the spinner in Moti, who didn't obviously play the first game. We obviously want to see the pitch today. Unfortunately, obviously it's covered right now. But obviously between minds whether bring in a spinner or keep the same attack we had. I think it was very good for us as a bowling group to get 20 wickets. I thought that was very important. First session, the first day, the first two sessions we were a bit too expensive. Obviously that cost us a bit. So we're getting a big first innings total. And as a batting unit, we got to improve. We got to obviously spend more time, but. South Africa will come hard. No matter 11 they play, so we got to be up for it.
Yeah, and Brathwaite also said he was pleased with the team's effort in the Centurion test, but he believes the team can do better.
I think it shows that we aren't far off. Obviously South Africa is a tough team at home, as normal. And, it goes to show with a little more application, especially, for the batters, myself included, we could, do well here in these conditions. So, it was a good. It gave us, that belief, that we could do it, and we just got to keep believing. And it doesn't matter which team we play in the world, we always got to believe. And I think we had a lot of positives in the first test, and we got to just keep improving.
Yeah, 30-year-old West Indies captain, the Barbadian Craig Brathwaite. We're now joined by someone probably twice his age, almost, Fazeer Mohammed, to look ahead to what may happen in this Johannesburg test. Faz, your thoughts first of all on Craig Brathwaite's pre-match comments?
Yeah, I'm definitely more than twice his age, and I'm showing it after all these years of watching the West Indies in many different levels. But yeah, the usual Craig Brathwaite, non-committal, trying to be as positive as possible, and indeed there were quite a bit of positives from the bowling department coming out of the first test match. I think the fact that he mentioned Gudakesh Modi suggests that Modi will play tomorrow, unless it really turns out to be a green top. He indicated at that media conference that he didn't have a look at the pitch at the time. Of course, he's going to have a look at it just before the start of play tomorrow, together with the other key members of the selection panel. But it does appear, unless it's an absolute green top where Akeem Jordan could get a test debut, that Moti will come in for Shannon Gabriel. And who knows, maybe Atanaz might get that opportunity in place of Roston Chase. So, yeah, obviously you have to sound optimistic, and the loss of Anrich Nortje for South Africa is a very big blow to them. But I still think it comes down to the West Indies' vulnerability against genuine fast bowling on these sorts of surfaces.
Yeah, and the news coming out of the South Africa camp, Faz, is that they are including two spinners in their 11, we are told, in the past few hours. So, that could be a cue for the West Indies to make sure Moti is in the lineup.
It does appear that way, and just following the trend of some of the discussions, the feeling is that the Wanderer surface is not going to be as lively as at Centurion, but in any event, it's going to offer a much more pace and bounce than most West Indies batsmen are accustomed to. Have they had enough time in South Africa to really get attuned to the conditions, to feel comfortable that they could take on these South Africans at their own game, in their own conditions? We'll just have to wait and see. But the added dimension of spin puts the focus on Moti, because he will know very well that, again, he'll be under the microscope if he does play after that 13-wicket haul in the second test match, the win against Zimbabwe in Bulawayo just about 3 weeks ago. So yeah, there are many different elements as per usual going into a test match, but more than anything, history is against the West Indies. We've only won one test match in South Africa, in Port Elizabeth, way back in 2007. So really it will require tremendous effort by the West Indies to push these South Africans to the point where the West Indies can think of leveling this series.
Yes, and we will need to see tremendous effort with the bat. Would you make any changes with regards to the batting order or bring in a different batter if you were picking the team?
Well, selecting the West Indies team at this time is always going to be difficult because when you really look at the batting lineup, the opening batsmen pretty much settled. Raymond Reaper got a good score in the first innings of the first Test match. You talk about Kyle Mayers, really a double failure, but he gives you something with the ball. I think the only vulnerable spot really is Roston Chase. And again, you have Jermaine Blackwood getting 79. So this might be the place that is under question right now. The other point would be, of course, with someone like Alec Athanaze, with the selectors feel comfortable that he's ready for a challenge like that. It might be the best thing just to throw him in at the deep end because he scored runs at the regional game that you could give him an opportunity at this stage, and we'll have to wait and see. But certainly from the batting positions and the batting lineup, I'd say the only question mark right now would be over Austin Chase.
Yeah, okay, Faz, we're gonna leave it there so you can have yourself an early night because cricket starts pretty early in the morning so you can see the action from ball one. Thanks, Faz.
I really appreciate it. We old people need to get an early night. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that's Faz. So, Ricardo, pressure on the West Indies team, difficult task to win in South Africa as the statistics would have shown. But hope coming from Craig Brathwaite that based on the performance in the first test, they're not without hope.
I heard Jermaine Blackwood as well at the back end of last week saying that they believe they can beat South Africa and that had they done better in key areas of the first test, then it could have been a different story. Brathwaite himself pointed to the opening day when they gave up 206 runs in the first two sessions of that opening test as something that cost them at the end of the day. But also, listening to Craig Brathwaite today, I don't think we're going to see any changes to the batting lineup. I think
based on how he responded.
Yeah, he pretty much said, listen, I'm backing the top group. 6 or 7.
Yeah.
And then he went on to speak about Moti and the possibility of bringing in Moti. But he pretty much sounded as if, because he was asked specifically about whether Athanaze would get an opportunity to play, and he pretty much said, you know what, we're
shied
backing.
away from a commitment to say yes or yes.
He pretty much said we're backing who we had for the first test.
Yeah.
Okay, so early morning cricket, West Indies in the second test against South Africa. This at Johannesburg, and of course we'll review on tomorrow's show what happened on day one. Still a lot more to come on the SportsMax Zone, including UEFA Champions League football and the NBA. Back with more after this.
Stay with SportsMax on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.